So let's get started here and resume our game. You can see here we are in the world of Neo Scavenger, and our characters pretty much has nothing. So the crafting is going to allow us to create a few things that we're going to need. I think the first thing we're going to go ahead and create is going to be a coat, because we do have a temperature issue. We are currently comfortable, but that's going to change rapidly. As you can see here by just hovering your mouse over the little weather icon in the upper right hand corner, it's cool, overcast, and pouring down rain. So it's cold. It was sleeting earlier, but now it's changed to rain. The weather will change throughout the game, which is going to change the outdoor temperature, which is going to change how comfortable you are. All right, we're going to go ahead and click here on the crafting screen, and that's with the hammer and the wrench. Now, when we open up the screen, we're going to see our available ingredients on the left here in this box area, and it's also bringing in the skills, because these skills are an ingredient. It's basically your experience and how to put these things together, and we'll see that in just a second here. But what we do is we then move over the ingredients we want to combine, put them in this box, and then it will actually show down here the things that those items, those ingredients can combine to make. So what we want to do is we're going to take this dog man, we're going to throw him over here. Now, obviously, just the dog man alone can't create something. But what we can do is throw this glass shard, or this pile of glass shards over here. So that's going to allow us to actually slice open the Wolfman. And you can see we're going to get some meat down here, and we're going to get some chunks of fur, lots of chunks of fur. With that fur, we can actually create a clothing item, but we want to create a better clothing item, and we know how to do that because we have this trapping skill. So we're going to add that to the mix, and now you can see we get the meat, but we're also getting this dogman fur coat. This is pretty valuable in the beginning of the game. You know, it's basically keep you from dying. And also, it's throughout the entire game. Actually, this coat is going to keep you warm, so pretty valuable. Another reason I always pick trapping. So, but now you can see here when you've got your items, your ingredients up top, and you have your results down below. We actually can go through the options. So let's say if I didn't want that dogman coat and I just wanted chunks of fur, then I could choose that, or I could choose no fur at all and just get the meat. So, but we definitely want that. So now we got our items in here. We have moves left, and then just watch. We've got 5 total move points. Now, when you actually create something and craft it, it's going to take some of those points. So let's see how many this takes. So we confirm it. Everything's solid. That means we have made it now. And the dog man is gone, so he's disappeared because we sliced them all up. That took a full movement turn. Not all crafting is going to take a full movement. That's why there is the 4.00. So some things take less time than other things. Obviously, slicing up a large animal and skinning it, that's going to take some time. So let's go ahead and clear this out. And it brings all the items back over here into the available ingredients. Now, when you do craft something, always keep in mind that it doesn't go into your inventory. It actually just goes to the ground. So going down here, clicking on the items screen, we're going to see that we've got all the meat that we've cut up. We've got our dogman fur coat, and that shard of glass that we had used to cut them up, that actually got used. But we've got this dogman fur coat, so let's go ahead and throw it on. Just look over here and see what's going to change. So we've gotten heavier, because this is 2 kilograms. That is pretty heavy. So you can see that the arrow is pointing to the left. It's red, but our outdoor temperature has gone up, so it's affecting us less. That obviously it doesn't change the actual temperature. It's just how much we're affected by that temperature. So things are getting better in regards to that. We're totally comfortable, and that's not going to change very much. So let's go ahead and grab some materials. What we're going to be looking for are a large branch, because we're going to go ahead and make a staff, or excuse me, a broad spear out of it. So we need to go to a forest tile. Now we've got a line of sight here. So we can see this neighborhood over here. We can see these grasslands over here. And you can see where it's highlighted with the green. That means we can go there. We can go here as well in these 2 spots, but we can't see them. And that's because they're forests. So basically you can't see the trees through the forest. But So here they are. So we know they're forests, so we can go to either one of these to grab what we need. Now we can't see beyond this. One reason is because of our myopia. That's going to reduce our vision, but also it's dawn. So the sun isn't fully up. So as soon as the sun rises much higher in the sky, we're going to see more of the map around us. But we know these are forests, so let's go ahead and jump into one of them. Okay, now that we're over here in the forest tile, let's go ahead and take a look at the resources and start gathering some of the items that we need. So let's go ahead and go to our items screen. And you can see here on the ground is the forest, the trees, the wood. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click and we're going to click use. So basically we're just using those resources. So we've broken off a large branch from a tree. We're going to grab that. We've also broken some medium branches and we have some twigs and some bark. These are what we're going to use to actually create a fire. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab some of the medium branches. Now, since I don't have any storage spots right now, I can only place things in my hand, so that means 2 items. Now, some things stack. For example, the branch, you can see here there's 5 of them stacked together. But let's go ahead and bring what we've got back to the cryo facility. And that's going to take 1 movement point, and here we are. So now we are at 0 movement points, so we don't have any other options but to end the turn. I'm going to go ahead and just drop the branches right now. It doesn't take any movement to get into your inventory screen and move things around. But I'm going to hold on to the large stick, the large branch, just in case a dog or somebody stops by. At least we have some sort of weapon to use, because we can't craft because we just have no movement left. So let's go ahead and end this turn. All right, so we've ended the turn. Nothing has happened. Nothing's come at us, which is great. So let's go ahead and create this weapon. We're going to go back to our crafting screen. Here's our ingredients. Now we can see the large branch and the medium branches there. And now what we're going to do is we're going to actually use the recipe box. I'm going to show you how that works. So you can see here, these are tools, these are weapons. We've got miscellaneous items, more tools, and then we also have food as well as medicine. So we've got a lot of different things to choose from, different categories. We want weapons, so we're going to look at the broad spear. Now when you hover your mouse, then you're going to be able to see all the ingredients that are required. So here we need a combat skill, which is going to be the melee skill or the ranged skill, I believe. I've never used the ranged skill, so I don't know. But it's a combat skill, so I'd have to assume. Now, the ingredients to these recipes, when you see this list, it just says sharp edge. It just says combat skill, large, rigid, flexible shaft. So it doesn't get specific as to what the item is. So, for example, the combat skill is my melee. Sharp edge, that can be a broken bottle or shards of glass. It can also be we have a multi-tool in the game as well, and that's got a knife on it, so that's a sharp edge as well. The large, rigid, flexible shaft, the only one that I know of is that large branch, the large stick that we've got here. And then one small, rigid, sharp edge with a point. That's what we're going to be attaching to our broad spear, and that's going to be, the broken bottle or the shard of glass. And then a small or medium flexible non-food object. Basically, that's going to be string, small string or medium string. And since we don't have any of that, we're actually going to be using the medical bracelet that we have on our wrist to attach the shard of glass to the end of the spear that we're going to create. So what we're going to do, since I know we have all of these objects, and if we didn't, it just wouldn't work. For example, I could not create this travois. I think that's how you pronounce it, but we're going to create that later. But I don't have everything needed. So if I click on it, nothing happens. But I do have everything for the broad spear. So if I just click on it once, it will bring everything that I have in my inventory that will work for this up here in the combine. But it's going to choose between different things. Like right now, it wants to use my hospital gown to tie the shard of glass to the stick. Now, it's also bringing a shard of glass with it as 15.6% in condition. So let's go and take a look at that. So here's all the shards of glass that we have to choose from. And again, I'm holding down Shift when I click on any stacked item, and then I can just select one of the stack. So let's bring this shard back over here. And we see we've got 15.6, 16.4, 35.4, and then 66.9. So that's a best condition piece of glass we've got. And what you'll see is if I bring the 16.4 over here, Here's what it's going to combine to. Now, if I just hover my mouse over here, the cursor, it's going to show my condition is 16.4%. It is going to bring the condition of the final product to the lowest level of the ingredient that you're using. So 16.4% is not very good. So we're going to use our highest condition level, 66.9%. So we're creating a spear that's going to last longer. It doesn't affect the combat quality of the spear. It's still going to do the exact same amount of damage. It just won't last as long, and we'll have to create another one sooner. And so let's just use the best we've got right now. Now, also, I don't want to use my hospital gown. I kind of want to keep that for other reasons. Right now, warmth, but later I'm going to tear it up. But I'm going to use this hospital wrist. So, boom, there it is, broad spear. So here's a shard of glass, and then it's tied together, and we're looking at 66.9% condition. And we have to have the melee skill in there. Otherwise, we're going to create a shiv. So basically this tied to this, so it's just like a little knife. Or we can create a sharpened spear. So if you don't have a combat skill, you're going to end up with a sharpened spear. Now, if we had a fire, I'll show you this here. If we had a fire, you can do a hardened spear. And basically that's just uses the fire to harden the wood and creates a better weapon. But the best weapon that I've been using here, that's a melee weapon at least, is the broad spear. So that's what we're going to stick with on this one. But let's go ahead and put our melee skill back in there. Here's our broad spear. Let's go ahead and craft that. So now we've got a broad spear. And again, remember, it goes to the ground. So you're going to have to go to your items screen and see everything on the ground. And now we can take this and put it into our hand. So now we have a weapon. We're going to be able to protect ourselves from any of the feral dogs in the area. There are some other NPC actual players in the area. The way the game is set up is, I'm going to go to the world map here. I'm going to zoom out. It's hard to see because it's all so close together here, but this is the entire world map. So everything that we can see here, this little section, that's the green and that's the black. That's kind of what we can see right now. So it's a pretty large map, but the way it's kind of designed from what I've been able to tell is, like, for example, this area is your starting area. So the creatures, the NPCs in this area aren't that tough. So it gives you time to kind of, gear up, essentially. As you move up here, it gets tougher, and there's tougher characters there, and down here, there's tougher characters. And the map is pretty much randomized, except for key areas. Like, I know there's something right here. I know there's something right there. And there's something, I think it's over here. There's definitely something down here, and there's a bunch of stuff down here. So, I mean, there are certain parts that are always going to be a part of the map, but some of, like, the little cities and the little suburbs where the forests are, where the water, like lakes and little streams and things like that that can be randomized. So, but yeah, I do believe it kind of chooses this area as a starting area in regards to having the NPCs being a little easier to deal with. So let's go jump back into the woods here and take a peek at the what's on the ground. Now, I already brought the medium branches. Only thing I need now are basically some kindling here, so the twigs and bark. And let's go ahead and jump back here. Now, I can't craft because, again, that used all of our movement points. We've got a weapon, so I'm feel pretty good about just ending the turn. All right, so now here we are. We're going to show a little bit about combat. I'm not going to go over all of these right now. We'll have another episode where I'm going to really focus on combat. So depending on how long this takes, I might just cut it out. Maybe not, but we'll see. We'll see how this works out. So over here we've got the opposing character. Now, it doesn't mean they're an enemy. It doesn't mean they're going to attack you. They could be just, you could say hi. They're just in passing. They don't want anything to do with you, or they could be after you. So this person is really close to us. They're 3 spaces away. Now, my spear, I can attack him because this gives us a 3-space distance. He is punching. You can see his weapon right there, at least what he has out currently. He needs to be more spaces. He needs to be right next to us where the range of 1 in order to even try to attack us. So we could try to talk to the guy. Well, actually, it doesn't look like we can. So we could... oh, he doesn't see us. actually. I'm sorry. So visible? No. Even though we're not undercover, he just doesn't know we're there. So we're behind a tree or just somewhere out of his sight. He's not even looking for us. So we can just ignore him. We can wait around, see what he's going to do. We can just straight up attack him and steal his stuff. And yep, that's what we're going to do. Bam! Okay, so down here you're going to see kind of the results of your actions. So I attack the stranger and I hit. So what I did is I tore open the stranger's upper chest with the broad spear stab. So now that stranger's coughing up blood. So basically I just kind of jumped out of nowhere and just stabbed him right in the chest. He's stunned and he's unable to move. So what he's doing is he's trying to take cover because he's just scared. He doesn't know what to do. He's coughing up blood, somewhat stunned, and we're just going to finish the job. So let's go ahead and attack him again. And I hit. I lacerated his upper left arm. And I'm going to go ahead and attack him again. And let's see here. He's in severe pain. He's having trouble concentrating. I'll attack him again and again and again. And we'll just keep on just stabbing at this poor fool. And because that's what we do here. So now he's dead. So basically, he died of severe traumatic brain injury. So let's go see what he had on him. So we're gonna go and look at the ground here, and I'm currently kind of liking what I'm seeing. Here's some shoes. Now, one thing about the shoes, real quick, and we'll get back to crafting, but the shoes are right and left. So you want to make sure you're putting them on the right foot, otherwise you're going to get blisters. So here's a right boot. So let's put it on our right foot. Left, put it on our left. Now you can always double click and the system will automatically throw it where it needs to go, but sometimes it'll put it on the wrong foot. So we want to make sure it does go to the right foot. So it looks like we've got a shirt. So let's go ahead and throw our shirt on. And you can see here, now we're wearing a nice shirt there. We've got some cargo pants, which is awesome because that's more storage. Now he's got some stuff in this one, so let's empty out and see what we've got. We've got an empty bag of chips, and it looks like we've got a chunk of meat. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the pants on. Just double click, it goes right down there. Here, let me take this off, be easier to kind of see how things work. So here's your body, totally naked. You're going to double click on the cargo pants. Boom, they go on. You're going to double click on the shirt. Okay, you're going to actually click on the shirt, drag it right on over and drop it on the chest. Boom, there it is. And let's go ahead and put this back on just because it's easier to carry. And then we'll put our coat back on. Now we've got a little small animal hide here. I don't think we're going to do anything with that. Now this empty bag of potato chips actually acts as storage. So this is where we want to cook our fire. So let's go ahead and drop our twigs. But we're going to put this in our hand. Now we have this as storage as well. This is storage because these are the cargo pants pockets. And this is stuff we can just put in this bag. Now they do have condition levels. So you can see the pants are 66.6, which is pretty good. The bag is 22.9. So you can put stuff in there, be walking around, and the bag will just tear apart. And you might not notice it, so you could lose some stuff. So always keep an eye on down here because it's going to tell you what's going on throughout the game. So let's go ahead and just eat this chunk of meat. There we go. We can see here just a little less hungry, even though we weren't doing too bad. And yeah, so now we're back at our spot. We've killed somebody. So we saw some battling, some combat. But let's go ahead and get back to the crafting screen because we're going to go ahead and start a fire now. So we're going to start a friction fire. Now, the only way you can start a friction fire is if you have that trapping skill. Another reason I think this is just absolutely invaluable. So let's go ahead and toss that in there. Boom. Now we have a friction fire. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to combine these items, create it's a tiny lit campfire. There it goes. Now what we want to do is we're going to remove the small twigs here because we don't need that. But we're going to throw one of our medium-sized branches into this tiny lit fire to create a full-size campfire. And there it is. Then you're going to see down here we can actually create a handful of ashes. And then get a little, the fire will go back to that smaller size. The ash we're going to be using to cure our meat, which basically slows down its spoilage rate. We can certainly just cook it and eat it, not a problem, but it just lasts longer. So let's go ahead and get some ashes going. Tiny fire to big fire. We're going to throw one of the branches in there. Boom, there it goes. And we're just collecting a bunch of ash right now. And I'm going to do this until we've got one branch left, because we need that branch to cook our food. So basically, you're just going to skewer the meat and then cook the food with that. So now we're going to do some cooking of the food because we only got one branch left. So we're going to toss up some of those larger chunks and a couple of the smaller chunks. Now, to cure this, the large chunks take 2 handfuls of ashes, and the small ones take 1. So we're going to be looking at getting all the ash up there now. All right, all right, all right. So just double click. And I'm not counting right now. I'm just throwing everything over there. Okay, now, as you can see, we're going to be able to create cured meat. But if I did not have that trapping skill, I would just be able to create cooked meat, which is fine. It just degrades quicker. Yeah, so let's throw trapping in there. Another thing trapping is good for. And let's go ahead and make some meat here. So we'll just do this until either we run out of ash. Let's see here, or movement. And actually, it's our branch. So basically, the branch we kept on shoving in the meat ended up just burning up. And so now if we look on the ground, we've got raw meat, which you never ever want to eat. But then we've got some cured meat, which is yummy and delicious. So thank you for watching another episode. And in our next video, we're going to go ahead and hit the road and do some scavenging of some buildings. Hopefully we can find some plastic bottles to carry water in and something to boil it up in. And yeah, we'll probably look at combat a little more as well. Just kind of depends on if we run into anything that we need to kill. But we're going to see some of the more items that you can find and some more crafting with those items. Hopefully we'll find the ingredients to create a vehicle. And basically that's just going to allow us to carry more. It's not a vehicle for moving around the map. It's just a vehicle to store more stuff, which is what this game is all about, is scavenging. So the more space you have to store stuff, the better off you're going to be in throughout this whole game. So thanks for watching another episode of Hats Off Games, and we'll catch you in the next video.